She's currently the treasurer of Bangalore Sahodaya Schools Complex Association. She is best known in academic circles for inculcating and practicing innovative and creative methods of teaching, school quality management systems, trainer, and implementer. Lots more to talk about, Doctor. But then, keeping it very short, it's a privilege having you here, Doctor. You can continue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My basic question again comes back. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Very much, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, Lakshmi Rao, ma'am, it was an amazing session. I have been listening to you. And I should say that I have been listening to her for past 58 years. She's my sister. And she's superb otherwise. Okay. And you did a fantastic session. Now, I'm taking from where Lakshmi Rao has left. So, how many participants? 441 participants we have.
Yes.
And we will keep the, the chat, this thing open. There are some Tamilians in the group. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. And there are other languages. See, I'm not partial to anybody. I just want to do some activity. So that is the reason I asked whether there are Tamilians, because next few minutes, my session will go in how to make, I'm going to tell you all, how to make one typical Tamilian dish called vattakorambu. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. What is that got to do with learning domains? You will know later. But now I'm going to teach you all how to make vattakorambu, and I'll teach in the language which I'm very comfortable other than my mother tongue. Okay, that is Tamil. Okay, so first you have to take, I'll mix a lot of Tamil there, so that I want Tamilians to be there. So take kadai and take some nallenna into it, and then take this manathakkali with it. Okay, nicely fry them till they turn deep brown. Adukulla, you can take one lemon-sized puli, that is tamarind, and soak it and take the lemon juice. Lemon juice. Meanwhile, take. Hello. Please mute your audio. I cannot go ahead if you do not mute your audio, please. Okay. Now, so take little bit of kadalaparappu, ulthamparappu, kadugu and all, put it into that with little bit of perungayam also, and put some vegetables in it, fry it nicely, add sambar powder, add this juice to it, and salt and little bit of jaggery if you want, boil it well. Your vattakorambu is ready. Now, all those people who are in this group, how many of you understood? Please use your chat box. I told you how to make the dish of what you call Tamil Nadu Ayers. So I'm waiting for you to put it in your chat box. Please tell me, how many of you understood? Yeah? I'm just waiting for the answer because I'm not able to see my chat box. So can somebody tell me that? I request the...
There is some disturbance. I think we are just trying to get. Give us a few minutes. There is some disturbance going on.
Ma'am, Sharada, ma'am, are you sharing your screen? This is Priya here.
Yeah, I'm sharing the screen. Can you see?
No, ma'am, we are not able to see the screen.
Can you see the screen now? No.
No, ma'am.
Okay, sorry. Once again, I'll share.
No. It was actually...
Yeah, can you see?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
You're not able to see. 1 minute.
You have to stop the share and share it again, ma'am, probably.
No, that's what I have done that. Once again, I'm trying to share, but it is not going. Can you see now?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay, once again, I will press that.
Yes, ma'am, we can see.
You can see?
Yeah, because two of them are sharing the screen.
Who are the two?
We can see only the white patch.
We
can see only the white patch, ma'am.
Yes, same here.
There is no, that is what, if you change the person, if you select Sharada as the name for screen, then you can see her. A child is arranging something in the map atlas.
Yeah, that is the screen I'm sharing, learning domain.
Yeah, it has to be pinned to Sharada ma'am's screen.
No, wait. What has happened is,
I stopped, right?
You stopped, Lakshmi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you stop sharing and then you can again start sharing. Now it is seen.
Yeah, now we can see. Now we can see.
Yeah. So that, I mean, I asked a question. I'm not able to see much of this thing here. My 1 minute. I'm waiting to see the chat box because a lot of chat box is required. So can anybody, whoever is non-Tamilian here, can unmute and answer my question? That did you understand what I said?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, you
No,
didn't.
ma'am.
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Exactly, could not get.
Obviously,
No,
no.
ma'am.
Thank you. You did not understand. Yeah, thank
No,
you. Now
ma'am.
you all can mute yourself. So, why you
No,
didn't
ma'am.
understand? Number one. Number two, this is what happens to a child when he comes to the class. When he or she comes to the class, you are talking about something you're very comfortable with, okay? But for the child, it is completely Latin and Greek. The way I have explained Vetakorambu to you, where I'm extremely comfortable in the language, which Miss Lakshmi, Liza, can you please mute yourself? Yeah. So anything, first we have to understand when a child is coming to the school, when a child is coming to us, what we are comfortable with, the child is not comfortable with. So we should start from where the child is comfortable with. So what is the child comfortable with is what we are going to learn. And what are all the areas we need to concentrate also we are going to learn next 1 hour. I'll try my level best to do the entire this learning domains in this 1 hour. Okay, so we are ready, we are going now. My next question comes is that what are the expected learning outcomes of this session? To identify the key elements of learning domains, to understand the purpose of enhancement of these domains, to elucidate the process to follow to make these domains effective, and to create a plan to enhance these domains. This is our expected learning outcome. Now, I want you to tell me that whomever I ask this question, only they will tell me, so that I will not take much of time in reading out the answers in the chat box. That yeah, I can see Ms. Pratima Veervani. Ms. Pratima Veervani, can you tell me, do you remember what was the first few activities you have done as a toddler, Pratima?
Yes, ma'am. It's an honor to be there and answer your query. Like I remember playing with the dough, which my mom used to make while making chapatis. I would sit next to her and make figures out of it.
Thank you so much. Now I'll
Thank you,
ask
ma'am.
Ms.Sharada here. My namesake, I'm very partial to her. Can you please tell me?
Yes, ma'am.
What was the first, do you remember your first activity as a toddler?
Yes, ma'am.
What was that?
Yes, ma'am. I will catch the hand and walk.
Okay. So now thank you. You can mute yourself. Thank you very much, PV Sharada madam. And now, why am I asking this question? I will say that we have done multiple activities as kids. Okay. When as a kid, we played in the sand and we were allowed to play in the sand. We were made to write in the sand. We were actually, if you were brought up amongst your joint family with your kid, other siblings and other cousins and all, I remember that the grandparents or aunts or uncles or anybody, especially aunts and grandparents, mothers, they used to sprinkle all this puffed rice on the floor. And we were asked to pick and put it into the plate and eat in between whatever it is. And the groundnuts were given like that. Okay, cashew nuts were given. The kismis was given like that. Puffed rice was the famous food which was given at the time. Okay, and second thing we were given like Pratima ma'am said that dough was given so that we can play with we can make chapatis, small chapatis with that. So have you ever thought that why is that this kind of games, I mean, this kind of things were done with us? That now, that's a big question, like picking up puffed rice or picking up tamarind seeds or any other seed. writing in the mud and sand. We used to do that. Even in the Suji, we make them write now. But those days we were asked to write in the mud and sand, and that also has a specific purpose. Then we were also asked to repeat some slokas. If any Telugu people are there, they may remember in their childhood that if they are almost in the mid 40s and all, they will remember that the Chetavenna Mudda Changalva Pudanda Bangaru Mulatadu, all those things were taught to us as a kid. Then we were taught a lot of poems in Telugu or whatever is our mother tongue apart from English. Then we were taught a lot of words. Then we heard a lot of stories. The first story all of us learned is that the fish which never got dried, and the question came why the fish did never dried. All of you remember that. That's a different story, I tell you. Then counted stars and leaves. If those days, definitely I know that all of us would have counted, and we would have told that there were this many tens of stars. This was also taught. And we were also asked to recognize the relations, like whoever came, who is this, who is this, who is this. And after some time, we used to get confused. Even now, my son says, I have too many uncles and aunts, and I don't remember who is who. He is not a kid, he is 33. But I have such a big family on both sides. That is the difference. Okay. So this recognizing the relations also happened as kids. So now the question comes, why did we do that? Okay, I'm not asking you the question because I have to finish. It is only to develop 3 areas of learning from us. Okay, that when we were doing something, we were asked to do something with a purpose. Now I have a request to all those 400 plus participants. Can you please mute yourself so that I can go without getting disturbed? I can carry on with my lesson. So now what I want you to all to do is that to develop these 3 areas is what we were asked to do this. So before I go further, now I want all of you to look at me and repeat exactly what I'm doing loudly. Okay, put your hand on your head. Yeah, hand on your head and say cognitive. Say, don't need to unmute. Just to say cognitive. Put your hand on your heart and say effective. Put your hand on your heart and say effective. Stretch your hands in the front and say psychomotor. Okay? So, this is cognitive. Please do not unmute yourself. Do not unmute yourself. Just say it, that's all. So, cognitive. Hand on your head and say cognitive. Cognitive. Don't need to repeat. Please do not unmute your audio. Just say it wherever you are. Cognitive, effective, on the heart, effective, and psychomotor. Okay, so somebody has unmuted themselves. Please do not do that. Keep your audios in mute and say it for yourself the way I'm saying. Cognitive, effective, psychomotor. Cognitive, effective, psychomotor. So what is this cognitive, effective, psychomotor is? These are the 3 domains of learning. Okay. So what is this is that connecting the mind to the heart and the hand. Okay. So these are the areas we need to concentrate in the whole lot of teaching learning process of this entire childhood. That is from the time the child is born till the child completes his learning. That's almost womb to tomb. We have to worry about these 3 areas only. Okay. In this, everything comes. That is connecting the mind to the heart and to the hand. So the learning is completed. Our grandparents have done this. And we did not know, they did not tell you that we are touching your cognitive skill. We are taking care of your affective. We are taking care of your psychomotor. They didn't tell us. They just told us that do this, and we did it. And these 3 skills have been developed in us. Now we need to do the same with the children. Now, so again, what is this cognitive, effective, psychomotor? Is that first of all, encouraging the students to think and solve the problems methodically becomes cognitive skill. That means any job given to them, Making them think and solve it is completely cognitive. And adding emotional interpersonal development to that is affective. And physical activities are actually psychomotor. Okay, now if I'm talking about a child who has coming to school. Now, a child of 2.5 years old, what is cognitive to a 2.5-year-old child? What is effective to a 2.5-year-old? And what is psychomotor to a 2.5-year-old? If you say, if you tell the child, beta, take this cup, put it in the sink. Okay, you told this to the child. Now, the child takes the cup, puts it into the sink exactly the way you told. That means the child understood. Cognitive worked, okay, in doing so. Now, the child has understood, observed you every day. What you do when you put the cup into the sink, that somewhere you go, you put some water into it so that the cup doesn't dry up. So the child asks you, give me water, I'll put it into the cup so that it doesn't dry up, so that the child's affective skill has come up well. Now, while taking the cup from the hall to the kitchen without dropping, or pouring the water from the glass into the cup, that means the child's psychomotor skills worked well. Did you understand? These three from a very simple job, that beta,
Excuse me,
Munna,
ma'am.
yeah.
Will you please repeat once again, if you don't mind?
Who is this?
I'm Lakshmi, one of the participants. Will you please
Okay.
repeat once again?
I will repeat, but in this case, okay, I'll repeat. So, if at all, when you ask a child sitting, you are in the hall, your own child, you tell a child, beta, take this cup, tea cup, put it in the sink, okay? And the child goes and puts it into the sink. That means the child understood exactly what you want the child to do. The child observed you doing it. So the child with that small little feet walked into the kitchen, put it into the sink and came back. That means the cognitive worked well. Thinking, assimilating, reproducing went on there. Then, but the child observed you for past few days, that whenever you keep a cup there, used cup into the sink, you pour some water into the cup so that the cup doesn't dry up. So the child comes and asks you, give me a glass of water so that I'll put it into the cup. That means the child's affective skills, that means emotional skill is working. The child's attitude is working well. Okay. Then the child carrying the cup from the hall to the kitchen without dropping. That is the psychomotor skill. Okay. Now this is at home. Now the same child, next day, the moment you start drinking tea, without asking you, waits there. The moment you finishes, takes the cup, puts it in the sink, not only puts into the sink, but somehow manages a cup of water and puts it into the water and comes to you with a towel. That means the child not only developed the cognitive, but the child's attitude and skill, the psychomotor skill also developed. Okay. Now, normally what we say that in typical this thing, okay, put it in the sink. Someone will say that, okay, throw it into the sink. Then the child goes near the kitchen and throws the cup. The child cognitive skill worked well, but affective and psychomotor, we need to work. Okay. Now the child is not able to hold the cup at all at 2.5-year-old. We need to work with the psychomotor skill. This is what the whole 3 areas of domain we need to work on. First thing is understanding, assimilating, reproducing. Okay. And then higher order thinking skill, how to do it better. All this comes under cognitive. Whereas using the attitude, a best attitude to do the same job in the perfect manner There are some kids who do that. So that becomes effective skill. While doing this, the fingers, the hands, the gross motor, the fine motor, all these skills work well, then it becomes the psychomotor skills are working extremely well. So these three things are our domains which we need to concentrate. So how are we going to do about it? I'm going to talk now. So what is cognitive? Cognitive is completely knowledge-based, that is recalling, understanding, applying, analyzing, synthesizing, and evaluating. How will a 2.5 or a 3.5-year-old child synthesizes and evaluates? You must be wondering. Now, today you went to school. You wore a nice pink color sari, a nice baby pink sari. You were very decked up because that day is some teacher's day. That day is some function in the school. Now the child comes and tells you, ma'am, you are looking very beautiful. Excuse me, can you please mute your audio? I'm not able to speak. There is so much of noise. Excuse me, please. Somebody please mute your audio. So you wore a beautiful, beautiful pink sari. You were decked up for some function. You went to the school. There is a function in the school. Now the child sees you and tells you, ma'am, you are looking like Kareena Kapoor. Very beautiful. Now, what did the child do? The child has recalled the data. That means somewhere the child saw Kareena Kapoor in some kind of a pink dress. And Kareena Kapoor and beauty were actually somewhere it has been told to the child. The child has associated Kareena Kapoor with beauty. The second thing. Then the child is now comparing that with you because you are her favorite. You are in pink, you are looking beautiful. So anything pink and beautiful is Kareena Kapoor. Okay, now you are as here the analysis and the synthesizing is coming. The child is comparing you and saying you are as beautiful as her. Yeah, then she will also evaluate the situation. Is there any function today, ma'am? All of you would have gone through this situation in your own schools. Then that means the child's cognitive skills are working superbly. I'll tell you one classic example. When I was in my school, I have 2,000 plus children and 500 plus toddlers. One day I was standing outside my office in the lounge, and this LKG children were going in a line like a train. They were going, and I was standing with a cup of tea in my hand. So one kid asked me, "What are you drinking?" I said, "Tea." Then the boy said, "No, you should not drink tea. It's a bad habit." Okay. Then there is another boy who said that, and you should not drink alone. You have to share it with others. Okay. Now, did you see that there is a cognitive skill there? Yeah. So the children have cognitive skill. They associate and how they reproduce. So what is that knowledge we give them there? How are we giving that knowledge? That matters at that. That is the domain we need to actually completely nurture so that the child gets the correct kind of a knowledge there. That is where people keep on tell us that, please be very careful. What is that you're telling the child? Give the best things so that the best things will come out. Now, effective. The child receives it and the child responds. The child understands and acts and organizes personal value system, internalize a values system. For example, now the child said that you are looking like Kareena Kapoor. Now, for the child, Kareena Kapoor is beautiful. Okay. For you, Kareena Kapoor may not be beautiful. Okay. Now, if at all, you tell the child, "Thank you, beta, I love you for that." So the child understands that anytime, every time somebody gives you a praise, then you have to respond it with a very courtesy word like "thank you." Okay. And who is Kareena Kapoor? Don't talk nonsense. Now the child is confused. If not Kareena Kapoor, who else is beautiful? The teacher is beautiful. I praised the teacher. Why is she upset about it? Okay, so all this effectiveness comes from our own value systems, our own responding, our own behavior, which will be reflecting on children. If a child comes to school and tells the teacher, I don't want to go home, I'll come with you home, it is not only the child is feeling insecure at home, there is something wrong, that the parents would have had a very heated argument at that moment in the house. So the child feels that it is better to be there with my teacher, who is beautiful, who is good looking, who is smart, who smiles and who calls me darling, than staying at home with the fighting parents. Yeah, this happens with all of us when we are in the teaching the profession. At least once in our lifetime we will find at least one child telling, I'll come with you to your home, I don't want to go back to my home. So this is where we are actually affecting on their affective domain. Now, what is psychomotor? Psychomotor is completely the gross fine motor skills, where imitation comes, manipulation comes, okay, that developmental areas comes, articulation comes. Now, if you remember very well, as a kid, we used to, even you would have been given one glass of water and one empty glass, and you will pour water from this glass to this glass, this glass to this glass, this glass to this glass, and you will spill water. Then your mother will shout, don't spill water, but you keep on doing that till you reach the perfection that exactly into the glass you put. That means the day you are able to put the water exactly into the other glass, that means your actually fine and gross motor skills worked well. Your concentration, your eye hand movement started working well. When you are running to one particular place without falling, your eye, leg, hand, all the three worked very well. The coordination is good. All this comes under psychomotor skills. So these are the three domains we are working with the children. So what is cognitive domain? Cognitive domain is the cognitive development, is the way the children discover the world around them. Okay, so what happened is, there is a theory from Mr. Jean. Okay, what did he say? He has actually worked on this cognitive development in children, their theory. And what he said is that there are 4-stage models which are there in the cognitive development. So what are these 4 stages? Is that it's a development was progressive recognition of mental process. As a result of biological maturation and environmental experience, children construct an understanding of the world around them, then experience the discrepancies between what they already know and what they discover in the environment. For example, I tell you, even it happens with all of us. We have some known knowledge. Okay, now all this 400 plus people who are in the audience today, they all have a lot of knowledge. And in this set of people who have this much of a knowledge, today they gathered little more knowledge, which is unknown to them. Now, what do? They try to actually correlate this knowledge they have with this knowledge, compare and contrast. Okay, with their own environmental experiences. If you have, since I heard Mrs. Lakshmi Rao's and Dr. Lakshmi Rao's, and I know what I am doing. So we are trying to give you real-time experiences. Why are we giving you real-time experiences? Is that our real-time experiences are the ones which are making us connect with what we are going to learn and what we already know. That is the cognitive process. Okay, so that means first we work on something called schema. What is the schema? If you see, for a child, when the child is born, when the child is growing, 1-year-old child, first the child, when he or she is born, and we will start saying that this is mother, okay, ma, okay, a ma. Then this is father. Then we'll say that if there are siblings, sister, and this is tata, this is pati, this is mama, this is mama, this is tata, all those ajja, aji, all this we tell them. Nana, nani, dada, dadi, we tell them. So they know that relationships, they get confused, especially father's mother, mother's mother. Why that father's mother is different from mother's mother? My grandson asks me that question. Then will I, how come that when I have only one set of parents, but you have 4 set of parents? Okay, it's all like, it's, I mean, 2 set of parents. So these kind of questions, the confusions will be there with them for some time. Then they will also, we teach them, this is fan, that is light, this is fridge, this is a washing machine, this is a shoe, this is everything we teach. So now the knowledge is getting accumulated here. Okay, this knowledge, what these things do, what are the names, is getting accumulated here. And what is the connection? Why do we need it? All that which is coming here. Schema. So what is that? Is that an organized mental representation of information about the world, events, people, stored in long-term memory. Okay, so what is that? Is that whatever we are learning, we are keeping it in our head for a long time. That is a schema. So does not have physical existence. You cannot say that this is here. That is that it is already here. Okay, so if you are talking about office, you talk about chairs, you talk about books, calendar, paper, desk. It is there here, physically not there, it is mentally there. Okay, that is a schema. So, for example, for a child, you took the child, a 1-year-old baby, you're carrying the baby, you took the child out, you have shown a bird, a nice, beautiful thing flying. Cute thing it is. So, the child was very curious. What is that which is flying? Then you said, it's a bird. Did you see? The bird is a flying. So now what did the child associate? Anything which flies is a bird. Did you understand? That is a schema. Okay. Now what did the child think? Anything which flies is a bird. Now, he saw an aeroplane after a few months. And he said, what is there in his mind? Anything that flies is a bird. So now aeroplane is a bird. He says bird. Then the sister says, no, it is not a bird, it is an aeroplane. Now when he calls aeroplane a bird, that means whatever knowledge he gathered here, anything flies is a bird, applying it and assimilating that knowledge. He is assimilating, second stage. Okay. Now the sister tells that it is not a bird, it is an aeroplane. Now what did the child learn now? Acha, it is not only a bird, even the aeroplane flies. Yeah. Added to the third level or third level of cognition. Did you understand? Yeah. First they see, we give a name, they'll store it. Now they see similar thing, they use this word to that, then you say, no, this is something else. So they say, oh, acha. So there is something else also like this. For example, me and Lakshmira, we look almost identical. Then when our children were babies, they used to get confused, who is the mother? Because whenever we were turned back, whenever we were standing in slightly semi-darkness, they used to come and hug her or me calling Amma. Then they will see the face, and if we are not, like if her children, they'll look at my face and say, where is my mother? Or my son will say, where is my mother? To Lakshmira. That means initial cognition, that is schema, worked with them. Second time what happened, they understood that these two people look alike. So not only going and hugging, we should also see whether it is aunt or mother. Okay. So that assimilation and the third level of accommodation went on with them. Did you understand? So this is the third level of our cognition. First is looking at something and knowing what is that, storing the knowledge. Associating the stored knowledge with something new we see, assimilating it. Then understanding that there is a new name to it, a new use to it, new different kind of a dimension to it. It is accommodation, third stage of cognition. Now, after accommodation, what happens is that equilibration happens. That means we will start balancing the entire information. That is how we will have to actually develop the cognitive skill in the children. That means first teach them something which they can associate with, Start from there. If you all know that if you have learned in your mother tongue, or if you have learned your mother tongue, why is that the first letter starts with Amma? Amma. What is that arm? These are all something which is very familiar, which we see in the next door. We never spoke about a flower called tulip. We were told, even as a toddler teacher some 35 years ago, okay, we never wanted to teach tulip because children never saw what was tulip those days. What is the point in telling them something which they don't see? We should teach them something they see. Those days there was no pear. There is no pear bird. So fruit. So what is the point in teaching them that? So first thing is that teach them something they know, they can see, they can understand, they can keep a schema here, then they can assimilate it, then they can accommodate new information, then balance between the assimilation and accommodation and equilibration they will bring. Acha, this is the knowledge, and then use it. That is all the cognitive skill. So what is this? The keywords we need to remember is there are 4 stages of cognition. First is schema, then assimilation, then accommodation, then we will go to equilibration. So this is how we need to develop. So how to do this? First, we have to make the child observe. Okay, normally that is how we start in nursery classes. Okay, we have lot of charts, then we do different kind of activities, and we make the child use the physical body as well as thinking. All this we do it. And we tell them that, okay, see and tell, look and tell, look at the chart and speak. All these things are about observation. And when you take them out to play also, you say that, okay, what did you see today? What did you, how is that bird, or how is the tree? How is the plant? What is this? How does this leaf look? And did you see the small bee there? Oh my God, did you see the bee there? Did you see the ant there? All these things are observations we are teaching them. And after observations, we are telling them to explore. That means, okay, today we saw bee. Can we explore? Whether we can see more bees? No, they will show you one moth and they say that, ma'am, this is a bee. Then, no, this is not. Then they say, this is butterfly. No, this is looking like butterfly, but it is not butterfly. Then suddenly they show you an earthworm and they shout, ma'am, there is a snake. Then say, no, this is actually earthworm. We are exploring with the child. So with the exploration, the child's schema level is going more, assimilation is going more. Then manipulate. Okay, how to actually assimilate this data, how to use the data comes. And along with this, we are making them listen to us. We are making them listen to us. And we are going to tell them that, okay, make a prediction tomorrow. What will we do? Make a prediction. What can this be? Is it a bee? Is it an ant? Is it a snake? Oh my God, did we bring a snake to the class? So we are making the child do the predictions, because the child goes home and tells, Amma, do you know today we saw a snake in the class? Then tomorrow you get a mail from the parents, how can you bring dangerous things to school? Yeah, so you will tell the child, no, it is not a snake. It is actually an earthworm. Then the child goes home and says, Amma, you know that today we saw an earthworm. You know what the earthworm does? So all this are the intellectual developments happening to the child. Then reflection. After going back home, within the classroom, the child reflects whether we need to have all these things in the environment, whether we need to learn all these things. Okay, if I still remember Lakshmi Rao's son, when he was 2-year-old, he was walking to my house, and he used to say, those days, I'm not talking about now, I'm talking about 85. He used to say phonetically all the sounds. He was 2-year-old kid. And he used to say, apple, lot of things. When it comes to G, in Telugu, he used to say G for Goyi. Okay, and it is very, very appropriate. He was the first child whom I saw completely with using the phonetic sounds. What is that? He was reflecting, he was understanding, he was using, and he was reusing those words where whatever he has learned. Then identify the characteristics of objects and events. This is where I want all of you to know when we are talking to them about a letter, the sound and the object are to be connected. Then only the child will be able to learn fast. Then classifying the items. We are teaching them, no, these are all vegetables. These are all animals. Again, in animals, these are domestic animals. These are wild animals. These are classifications and experimenting. Small experiments we are doing with them. And then, of course, using different kind of strategies to solve problems. And first and foremost, asking questions. Today, I would love to have a question answer session. I hope I will be able to do, because of the 1 hour. I have a lot to learn in this thing, so I'm not able to do that. So what is the teacher's role in this? The teacher's role is incorporating higher order thinking into their curriculum, Bloom's taxonomy, and ideal method of problem solving. What is this ideal method? I'll tell you. First of all, we need to plan our curriculum well. We are looking at a cognitive development, which is also associated with affective and psychomotor. So how are we planning it? Identify simple to more difficult skill. First day itself, we will not give them chicken curry. No, the day we do Annaprasna, we don't give them chicken curry on the first day. In the same way, first day itself, we can't give them a very difficult task. We should take them slowly. Known to unknown, we need to take them. And effectively align objectives to assessment techniques and standards, which already Lakshmi Rao ma'am has actually dealt with. How are we going to align objectives to assessment techniques and standards? See, one thing I'm saying, assessment, when I talk about, it is not pen and paper assessment. If the child is going in a car and suddenly sees a big word like some brigade metropolis, and the child identifies all the letters at the age of 3.5 years, bingo, assessment is done. Whatever the child learned has already been learned and already been reproduced. Okay, so that is what I call it assessment. Assessment need not have to be pen and paper. Assessment is assessment of psychomotor skills, assessment of higher order thinking skills, assessment of all skills in different kind of activities to see whether the child has attained the age appropriate skill or not, number one, whether the child is above the age appropriate skill. So how am I going to go ahead of this with this child? Again, no two children are alike. They are all separate. So each child needs a different kind of a plan. Then incorporate knowledge to be learned and cognitive process to learn. And first thing is facility questioning. We have to get into inquiry based. So this is the ideal problem solving. First thing is we should make the child identify the problem, then define the problem, then examine the possible solution, act in the best solution and learn from the result. Hooray! 2.5-year-old child comes and what problem will he identify? What really Sharada ma'am has gone bonkers. She has gone mad. Now for a 2.5-year-old child, what can be a problem? Can you all tell me? The problem can be for a 2.5-year-old child that opening the tiffin box is a problem. Yeah? Mother has given 3 idlis for a 2.5-year-old kid. Eating that is a problem. Okay. Then how to solve this opening the tiffin box problem? Okay. And we should actually, how many skills are associated in opening tiffin box here? Identified the problem. The child comes, says, I cannot open. So what is the problem identified? Not able to open the tiffin box. Is there learning? There is learning. Define the problem. First we say that the problem is that you should know to hold the tiffin box properly. Okay. Your hands are too small. So we will do one thing. We will put it in the lap. Yeah. Hold it with your small little hand. There is another small hand. Try to hold that. There is a small protrusion there. Hold it and open it slowly. Wow. So you opened it. Now you taught him. So what did the child do? Now we will ask the question. Tell me beta or tell me beti that what did you do? So the child says, okay, I'll close it. You do it again. Now the child should take it, Examine how all ways, in which all ways the child can open. And you gave one solution, but the child may find some other solution. Then he opened, he comes and he tell you, when I'm saying he, I'm not at all prejudiced, somehow the he comes to my mind generically, okay? So when the child comes and tells you, actually ma'am, we can also open it like this. I asked my friend to hold the box and I opened it up. They found a solution. I kept the box down, held it with my both feet, and with my both hands, I opened it. Third solution. So for one problem, if the child found a solution, then we will ask, very good. Now, what did you learn with this? To open a box, what do you need? You need two hands, or you need two kinds of forces or power. Very good. The child will not say force. You need something to hold. Very good. So you can use anybody's hand collaboratively, or you can use your legs and your own hands to open. Sounds very silly, but this is a great learning to the child, because once the child goes back home, mother is struggling to open that sugar box, dabba. Then the child will say, hold it with your legs and pull open the lid. Now, what happened? Not only the cognitive schema worked, but assimilation and accommodation also is working. Am I right? So there is a learning there. So for everything, there is an ideal method. That ideal method is making the child understand what is the problem. This is what is called also as a feed, not feedback, it is that feed forward. Okay. That means making the child understand the problem, making the child find the solution. Can it happen with 60 children in my class? No, it cannot happen with 60 children in class, because ideally 60 children is not at all suitable for a toddler class. Okay. So it can happen for a smaller class where we have a most interactive sessions. So now, what are the milestones? They pretend and play. I am the teacher, you are the student. Number one. I am the doctor, you are the patient. Number two. I am the ticket collector and you are the traveler. Very good. I am the postman. Now no more postman is there. Okay. Now I am the delivery boy. I will come. Amazon has come. Knock, knock your door. Please write here this. Is it cash on delivery? Yeah, the 3-year-old talks so much now. Pretend and play is completing a milestone. Then begin to match and sort shapes, pictures, and some colors. Yeah, that is one cognitive. These are all the ways to develop, okay, shapes and sizes. Then sequence of numbers when spoken, and quantification of numbers. One is not one is a quantity. 10 is not a 10 is a quantity. So when we are talking about 11, it is not 1 1 11, it is 10 and 1 11. It is 10 and 2 12. Then the child will understand actually it is a quantity. Otherwise, 2 ones will become 11. And then somebody told me in the, sorry to say that, give this reference in maths primary teachers interview, I said that how do you teach the place values to the children? She said that the ones onto my left hand all are tens, the ones onto my right hand onto my left are tens, and on my right are all ones, she said. I said, what about the child then? Are we going to teach the place values like this? If we teach 1 and 1, 11, this is what happens. It is 10 and 1, 10 and 2, 20 and 1, 20 and 2. It's a quantity the child needs to learn. So quantification, that also if the child is able to do, and increase the span when they are able to listen to you more without interrupting, and able to solve the problems through trial and error. The moment they drop the water, if we all say, oh, don't do, I will do, the child will never learn. The child's psychomotor skills will not develop. But if we say, okay, no problem, be careful, bring a cloth, wipe it, again start, again pour the water, doesn't matter, till you learn, you keep pouring water. Then the child learns. That is how we need to we need to make the child learn. That's how the cognitive learning happens. Now, so keep adding to the range of objects, okay? Then allow the time for your toddlers to solve a problem. Don't rush up. Yeah, keep counting. Let's count the blocks you used in your tower. Instead of saying that, okay, yellow and green, you have to tell them that count for a completely quantification. It should come from the count. And Then read books with your toddler and encourage them for interaction with the pictures. You need to do this. Reading, telling stories must happen in your classroom. For example, you want to teach them something. Okay, you can create a nice story. I tell you, this is my favorite story. It seems that once upon a time, there was a small puppy called Boppa. Now, Boppa had a very small curly tail. So everybody in the class, they laughed at Boppa, saying that everybody in the town, they laughed at Boppa, saying that, Chacho, look at Boppa's tail. It is so small. It is so small. Look at our tail. It is so long. Look at Boppa's tail. They went on talking. So Boppa was very ashamed of his tail. Then one day there was a big announcement in the city that the dog with the longest tail is going to get six bones and 1 gold medal. Now, every dog in the city really brushed their tails, polished their tails, wagged their tails and walked, practiced all the catwalk and all. Yeah, dogs practiced catwalk, whereas Boppa was really very dull. Anyhow, he has a very small little tail, so he was not at all interested. Then the day came, the judges came, then dog 1 came onto the dais and they measured the tail. They measured and said, only this much. Dog 2 came, again they measured, said only this much. Dog 3 came, only this much. Dog 4, only this much. 5, only this much. We are very disappointed. All the dogs in the city, none of you have got the longest tail. Isn't there anybody in the city with a long tail? They asked. They saw Boppa standing in the corner. They called, hey, you, come here. Boppa said, no, I have very small tail. We will decide. Boppa said, no. Then judges said, we will decide. Come here. So Boppa went onto the dais. And now everybody, every dog, bow, 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 laughed. Boppa, long tail. Such a small curly tail he has. Then what did the judges do? They caught hold of Boppa's tail and they pulled and 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 pulled. Lo, they left the tail. It went back. Again, they pulled and 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 left. It went back. Again, they pulled and pulled and pulled. This time they held it and they measured and see, it is a Boppa with the longest tail. And they said it is Boppa who won the gold medal and 6 bones. So Boppa is the winner. You told the story to the children. Now, what all things the children learned here with the story? The child learned that there is nothing to be taken at a face value. Yeah, there may be something hidden somewhere. We cannot laugh at something. And whatever looks small may be big. And whatever big may not be big enough. Yeah, and we don't know who is going to win what. This many values and attitudes come from one small story. You need to create such stories. You need to read such stories so that the value automatically comes to the child and the child learns so many words, so much of expression. All this comes only by reading and singing to them. As far as singing is concerned, okay, sort groups of objects into sets. We have that game. And complete simple puzzles, yes. Combine toys and games in more complex way, okay? And Play-Doh and dramatic play. Understand the concept of future time. Soon, tomorrow, we will be. When you tell them that tomorrow we will do, they all wait for tomorrow. Because they are thoroughly confused between yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We will be doing it soon. Is my birthday tomorrow? No, it will be coming soon. So you make them understand. Then create a lot of songs using your own students. For example, we used to sing the song with our children. I'm talking about 30, 40 years ago, not now. Okay, even now I tell my teachers to do that. For example, we used to say that with father in the family, happy, happy home, happy, happy home, happy, happy home. With mother in the family, happy, happy home. Now, next, Vijay Lakshmi in the family, happy, happy home, happy, happy home. With Sumati in the family, happy, happy home. Now, every child will be looking at you. The attention comes that whose name is going to come next. Okay, this is one way we can actually make them understand what is a happy home. Second thing is create songs on anything so that they will learn faster through the songs. Then next thing, sing-alongs, which I told you now. Identify the noises, sound to shape to object. Instead of saying A is only for apple or A for apple, you tell them what all sounds it is there and what is the shape connected with that particular sound and what is the object it comes to. They will learn better. And practice the alphabet, practice counting. Again, I'm saying that it is quantification. Please do not say simply one is one. One is a quantity. Okay, then offer choices, ask questions, visit interesting places. You know what? I took my little ones, UKG children, to biscuit factory. And the child said that, why do we need a big factory to make biscuits? My mother makes it in the oven. Then I had to tell the child, your mother can make 50 biscuits in your oven, but this makes lakhs of biscuits. Oh, so we need a big factory to make lakhs of biscuits. So the quantity comes there. So please take them to different places and play with everyday items and offer variety of games to them. Now, this already I did it, so this I'm not able to do. We are going to Bloom's taxonomy of the complete cognitive. So it starts with remembering, grows for understanding, then they will apply, then analyze, then evaluate, and then create. So it is in our hands, starting from 1.5 or 1.8 to 5.5. Every level, starting with remembering, then understanding, then applying, then analyzing, then evaluating, then creating. All this will happen only in the appropriate content. And this is the process, again, starting with schema, taking them to assimilation, then accommodation, and then actually balancing the information. This is what the way we can actually develop the cognitive skills. So what is the affective domain, the heart? It's the most important thing we need to develop in children. Yeah. And when we are talking about the heart, it is the children who imitate us. It is we who are role models to them. If we want them to do something, we should do the same thing in them. So we can actually put them into different kinds of feelings, different kinds of emotions, different kinds of values, beliefs, everything comes to this. And teaching them, if at all I am talking to them about apple, I will also talk to them about sharing an apple. Yeah. And it is also about cutting an apple. It is also about why an apple is required. And what if an apple is not there? This many things we need to put into them. Then only they can learn. The affective domain will be nurtured. And after doing this, if I don't respect an apple, they will never learn that. Okay, so this is an area that it should be dealt very, very carefully. So basic emotions, self-conscious emotions, attachments, temperaments, personality, self-concept, self-esteem. All this emotional development is part of affective domain, the hearts. And this heart is connected to you and me apart from the parents. So how are we going to do the basic emotions? If the child tells you, I love you, ma'am, we are saying, I love you too. But when we tell I love you too, we cannot look into our mobile. We cannot look into our notebook and say that I love you too, beta. We also have to say, I love you too. That I love you too is that somebody asked me, why do you dramatize so much? Then I said, being a teacher, I need to dramatize because I should behave like Shivaji Ganeshan. Then only the last child will understand that what I want to emote. That theater person, no, they'll say, Amma. Then the last person in the theater knows that, okay, Shivaji Ganeshan's mother is dying. Okay, like that, as a teacher, if I say that I love you, my 30th child also understand that I love. That is what we need to do. A little bit of an overaction is required. A lot of body language is required to develop their emotions, their expressions, to connect with them and to associate with them. When they look at a principal, they look at a principal mostly as a grandmother. They look at a teacher as their aunt, their role model, their passion, their God, everything is that. So these two areas, if we work well, then their entire emotions will be developed. Then relationships and social competence. Here is the major thing, that how am I going to manage my neighbor? That is the most important thing in the affective domain, because every child today is a prince or a princess, and this prince and princesses do not want to adjust with remaining prince and princesses. How are we going to do about it? Is the second one. And the next one is moral reasoning and morality. When I tell a child that you should not tell lies, but I left, right, center tell lies, then the child is in a confused mind. If I tell the child that you should be disciplined, you should come in time, you should get up by morning 6 o'clock, but I get up at 8 o'clock, then the child is confused. Yeah. And so all this moral reasoning should come from us for them to learn. So how to do this? First, the child receives it. How does the child receive? Through our behavior. Then the child responds to it. Then the child values it. Then he will or she will start organizing his own emotions, matching this receipt, this responding, this value. Then he internalizes, he or she will internalize this feeling, so that there is one affective domain created for the child. I have to react, respond to this situation like this. If we shout, acha, for this, if somebody pushes me, I should shout. How did this come that I should shout? Because somewhere the child has seen that if somebody is pushed, they shouted. If the child is silently taking the entire pain and sitting quietly, somewhere down the lane, the child understood that shouting is, I should not shout. If I shout, I will be shouted back at. Did you understand? So the affective domain is coming through a lot of observation. The affective domain comes from a lot of imitation. So here is where we need to walk the talk. I have a story here. There is, it seems, one Thapa, the baby elephant. How much more time do I have? I have few more slides. Hello? Will anyone tell me, the organizers? How much?
You can continue, Sharada. It's interesting. We don't want to stop it right now. Please, you carry on.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay. So there is this Thapa. Thapa is a baby elephant. This baby elephant was going with his mother wherever he goes, and the mother will feed him, and the mother also eats, and they get into a cave, and afternoon they will go for a nap, nice siesta. First few days, this Thapa was okay with that. Then one day the Thapa got bored. This afternoon nap is not good. Mother is nicely snoring away, so slowly Thapa got up. And he came out. Then he saw a huge forest all around. So he thought he will venture out. So he walked some more distance. Walked, and he found one old well. And on to the well, there is a tree on the one side of the well, on which there is a branch falling onto that. And one old python is living on that branch. The very old python, now retired python. It is no more active one. Now this baby elephant did not see the python. It went and saw itself. It saw into the old well, and there is some water, and it saw its own reflection. Now it's a baby elephant. So baby elephant thought there is another elephant inside. It said, hi. So the voice echoed, hi. So he thought that the baby elephant is saying hi to him. Then he said, how are you? Then the same voice came, how are you? Then, okay, will you be my friends? Will you be my friends? So he thought he found a new friend. He went into his cave, brought some sugar cane, dropped sugar cane, and he said, you take it, you eat it. And all this was observed by this python. python found it very hilarious. The little baby elephant doing this, dropping everything into the well. Now, Thapa went away saying that my mother will call me. And he heard the same thing from, well, my mother will call me. So he said bye-bye and went away. Next day again came. Today he brought some carrots. He threw carrots and some grass. Like that, 1 week went on, and now Thapa is very upset. Every time he is giving and the friend doesn't give anything. So he said, it is time for you to share with me. Now, the friend is not sharing. He is very upset. He said, you are a bad friend. You don't know to share anything with me at all. I am not liking it. You better give me now. Now, there is no friend there. Nobody is giving. Thapa is upset. That friend is not fighting. Friend is not giving anything, not listening, and repeating all that he is saying. He told you are a bad friend. I'm so upset with you. Since you are a bad friend and you are not listening and I picked up a bad friend, I'm very upset. So now I'm going off into the forest. I can't show my face to anybody that I picked up a bad friend. And when he was ready to run into the forest, now that old python said, hey, wait, don't do that. It's your own reflection. Now, the baby elephant saw the python and got scared. It's an enemy for me. Then he shrieked, Mama! Then the mother elephant came. Tug. The mother elephant got up, searched for Thapa, came, and he saw that Thapa is here and the python talking. He shouted at python, stay in your place. Dare not touch my son. And the python said, sorry, I'm a retired one. Now I'm no more attacking all these animals and all. This is what happened. And your son thought that there is somebody inside and he was throwing food. Today he was ready to run away into the forest. So then mother elephant said, sorry, python, I'm very sorry. I misunderstood everything. And she told Thapa, there is actually nobody there. It's your own reflection. This is story. When we talk about the story has a lot of affective domain. Number 1, giving. Number 2, responding. Number 3, misunderstanding. All the time pythons will eat. And without even understanding the situation, getting into war. All this we need to tell the children when we tell the story. Then the child understands, actually we need to respond. We should not react. This is what the affective domain development is about. So how are we going to do that? These 5 levels of, that is receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, and characterizing. How are we going to do? Okay. So how are we going to do is showing self-confidence as they develop, demonstrating persistence on can-do attitude. Instead of saying, no, you can't do, let's do together. That's what we need to put into the children from that 1.8 years. We cannot say, no, you can't do. No, you will spill it. No, you will do that. No, no's, all yes. Okay. Then showing self-direction. Being better able to express and regulate emotions. That I met one child recently, a small child, 4-year-old child. And the 4-year-old child, she was going for a holiday with her parents. So the teacher said, she told the teacher that I'm going for a holiday, so and so place. So the teacher said, wow, so I'm also coming with you. So the child was very upset, not upset, she was very confused. She kept her head down for some time, then she lifted and she told this teacher, actually, no, this is our family get together. 4-year-old child. It is not for the class children and the teacher to go for a picnic. We are going out somewhere else with the family. What did this entire statement show is that the child is actually able to express that there is a difference between going with family, going with the class. And here it is with the family, not with the class. Okay, I remember long ago, some 38 years ago, there was a child in 2nd standard. She corrected a teacher who was pronouncing Albuquerque as Albuquerque. She said, it is not Albuquerque, ma'am, it is Albuquerque. Then the teacher was very upset. She wrote a big letter to the parent saying that, how dare your child correct me in the class? This is 38 years ago. So the parent came and all, and Incidentally, the teacher was told, the child was made to say, sorry, now the child is a software professional working in US. And even today, I feel bad about it because the child was my friend's daughter and the teacher was my colleague. And I feel bad that if somebody corrects, we should take it up. And if it comes from a child, it doesn't matter, so that the child's self-confidence increases and the child understands that if we do something wrong or anybody is doing wrong, it is okay to correct rather than going with a wrong thing. That's how we can develop a sense of the responsibility and self in them and enjoying playing alone or other children without actually disturbing the entire environment. And coping up skills. See, what happens is if a child has a self-control, then the child will be able to cope up with the entire situation well. So how will we do this self-control is that if there is any situation, for example, a child fell down and he got hurt here, before the child, if we faint, we shout, we cry, everything, then the child gets panicking. If we act in a very balanced manner, the child understands that we need to respond, not react. Okay, and showing awareness of personal uniqueness, that if the child is good in something, recognizing that in the child is very, very important. And pretend and play is very good for expression of everybody's thoughts and ideas. When they are doing as a teacher, they reflect you at home. I do not know how many of you accept this, but if we tell the child any word, the child goes home and uses the same thing. Same thing, exactly. If you say that shut up and sit down, they'll say shut up and sit down. And we will be shocked. The way the child can imitate us. So pretend and play talks what is there deep within the child. So we should allow them to do the pretend and play. Then sense of self with others is approaching them easily, expecting positive interactions, seeking out the others. If I cannot do, I should take somebody else's help, being aware of the effectiveness of their behavior on others, balancing their needs, not that everything I see, I need it, okay, or what the others have in hand, I need it. All this we need to work with them with a very purposeful lesson plan. That is what Lakshmi Rao ma'am was saying. You have to incorporate this. Then only they will be able to do that. Then realizing the difference between intentional and unintentional actions, especially in the children. When they are walking, they may fall on somebody. When they're walking, they may touch somebody. It is not an intentional touch, intentional hit, intentional pitch. And this, the children, we should tell them that it did not do it purposefully. It happened unintentionally. This we need to put it into the parents also, because many parents do not understand that there is an unintentional behavior. Immediately they get a knee-jerk reactions which are not right. Then following the social rules and routines is one of the most important things. This is how I need to behave outside. This is how I need to behave inside the house. This is how my classroom behavior is expected. This we need to put it into them. And safety right, I'm caring for community, safety rights of others. This is most important thing from the time the child starts coming to school. We should that your freedom stops where my nose begins. So what does this mean? That your freedom stops where my nose begins. It seems one day one man was walking on the road and he was turning his walking stick in the sky like this in the air and walking. So it was hitting everybody around. So somebody told him, I believe, stop behaving like this. So he said, I believe, I'm an independent citizen of an independent country. I have all the right, freedom of movement. So I'm going the way I want to go. Then the other man stopped him and said, gentleman, your freedom stops where my nose begins. So this is a basic lesson we need to teach the children, that your freedom stops where others' nose begins. So please understand that you cannot go beyond it, because it will be harming the safety and rights of others. The day we tell this to children and the way we demonstrate, then the child will develop the affective domains well. So I'm not able to do the activity 2. Now we are coming to psychomotor domain. So all motor skill areas, that is speed, precision, distance, procedures, techniques, and executions are coming from here. So, psychomotor are the concerned with how a student controls or moves his body. Number one, eye, leg, hand coordination, fine motors, gross motors, all this fall under this motor skills. Okay, then emphasize on some muscular motor skills such as precision of instruments or tools for athletic performance. Now, for this, all those picking up the pebble, picking up the murmura, picking up all that whatever that pulses, okay, and the bead collection, okay, all this is for this, because unless until the psychomotor skills work well, both legs and hands and the whole movements, the child's development, physical development is at stake. So we need to first work on this along with the cognitive and psychomotor. Okay, so we have to be able to, like, when the child is coming to first standard, instead of typing, the child should be able to read 25 words. Yeah, and the child should be able to hold the ball well. The child should be able to dribble to some extent. The child should be able to hold the pebble without dropping it. The child should be able to pour water from this glass to this glass without spilling it down. The child should be able to eat from the plate with a spoon into that mouth. It has to go to the mouth without dropping. These are all the expected levels of the psychomotor learning domains. By the time the child finishes that toddler level of learning, that is by 5.5, this has to happen. So if by 5.5, if the child should be able to scoop out the food and eat, we have to start it at 2.5. Yeah. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to make this happen is what we are going to learn now. First thing is it will improve the agility, endurance, strength, speed, flexibility, precision. These are all the areas we are going to develop. How are we going to do this? Okay, we have to regulate internal processes, regulate motor skills, okay, and contextualize your entire learning, persistence, involvement. This is most important. When you are asking a child to do the thumb impression, all of you do this. When you are doing the thumb impression, 90% what happens is the child will be reluctant. Either you hold the thumb, patak, 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 everybody with 2 hands, 2 thumbs into the paint and put it on the 2 books, done. Another 2 children, 2 thumb, put it in the book and send off it. What did the child learn from here? We cannot do this. We have to call the child or keep the color near the child. Let the child spill the color. It doesn't matter. Teach the child to bring the child's own, what do you say, the hand towel, and to bring their own mat so that spilling happens on their own mat. Teach the child to put however the child can put and however the child can put the print. So you are developing that skill. It is not your skill. It is their skill. Normally, in 40 minutes, I have to take care of 40 children thumb impression. So with 2 hands, 2 thumbs, tapak, 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 we will finish. So overall 40 children. And I have proof that my children finished the thumb impression. But what did the child learn is not seen. That's why you see the child's work to the precision. Fantastic it looks, because it has been helped. Do not help. Let the child do how the child does it. So what happens is the child's psychomotors has to be developed, not yours. If you are not doing, I love you. If you are doing, don't do it. Okay. Now, so the third magic, I'm not going to get into all this theory, reflex movements. Okay. And so we are coming to first starts with we develop only the reflex movements. All of you know, a child when born, only reflex movements come into that. Then basic fundamental movements will come. Then perceptual, okay, this is for this is for this will come. Then the physical activities come into picture. The child's crawling, walking, all that happens. And then skilled movements will come. Once the child comes to school, we should not make the child write. We should not make the child write. First, what we need to work on the child is the child's LSRW skills. The W is the last one. Listening skill, then comprehending skill. The child, we should make effective skill work well. Then comes the last one, is that after listening, then speaking, okay, then reading, last is writing. So do not tell them to hold a pencil. Ask them to go with more of dough making, more of pebble picking, more of throwing things, more of picking things which are dropped. Dirty your classroom and make your children to pick up all those papers and put it to the dustbin. Yeah, make them tear papers. First activity is, if at all we were in the live sessions, I would have made you all tear the papers and spill it all over. Then pick it up and put it in the dustbin. It's a great activity. And we will be seeing the bits of paper, lying on the floor, lying on the floor. Makes the place untidy, makes the place untidy. Pick them up, pick them up. If you do this, 39 years ago, I was a toddler teacher. So once you do this, then it's a game for the child. That is what we need to work on. And non-discursive communication. There are a lot of communication the child develops through the expressions, through the eyes, through the facial expression, body movements. The child expresses happiness, the child expresses unhappiness, the child expresses anguish. These are all the different kinds of things the child learns through the psychomotor activities. We need to work on positive way of developing all these things through different activities. Okay, so I am not going into this. Now we are going to levels. Okay, so first, how are we going to develop this? Perception is distinguishing, hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, the basic. Okay, and then they'll have a set things, that is adjusting, approaching, locating, placing, positioning, and preparing. Did you understand? We all first distinguished, we all heard, we all saw, we all smelt, we all tasted, we all touched. So we perceived that this is this, this is it. Then we have adjusted ourselves to these perceptions. Then we approached with the preset notions there. We located with a preset notion there. And we placed them into different categories. We positioned ourselves and we prepared ourselves. This is the second level of psychomotor domain. Third comes is guided response. Here, by then already there is a setting went on. So copying comes here. Now, whatever is my set mind is different. And if I like somebody, I will behave like them. Yeah, that will start here. Then we will determine that this is what we'll do. We will not do this. This I'm talking about our own childhood, and this happens even with the children. Then we discover a lot of new things and we duplicate. Yeah, if I like something, as I told you that Kareena Kapoor pink dress. So the pink dress is duplicated, that I would like to, why all the girls want to wear pink. It's only that Barbie doll is in pink. And Barbie doll is shown as one of the beautiful things to happen. So that is what we are duplicating, then imitating. Or if you know that even in your teenage that you would have imitated somebody whom you like a lot, especially it happens in teenage. Like if we like somebody, we try to dress up like them. If we like somebody, we behave like them. We talk like them. We walk like them. That imitations happen. And this imitation now starts with the toddlers. How you do? If you shout, they shout. If you cry, they cry. Okay, and if you laugh, they look at you suspiciously, then they'll also start giggling. They will not know why they are laughing, but they'll imitate you. And the lot of things will be injected into the minds and they repeat what they see. Then the mechanisms. Now the already guided responses to mechanisms will come. The child will start adjusting, building, illustrating, indicating, manipulating, mixing, setting up. All this kind of a mechanisms will come. And adaptations will be followed, and the origination happens. The final complex state of an individual is that. So in this path, the role model 99% is the teacher, because parent is always taken for granted. Teacher is God. So till second standard, they follow what we do. From third standard, the doubt comes in their mind. And from 6th standard, they will say that, Teach-A. Okay. Whereas 9th standard, the teacher doesn't know. Now 8th or 7th also, the teacher doesn't know, comes into picture. But this is the entire setup. So when we are dealing with the teacher, the God, then we have to behave very godly. And everything should be very purposeful. This is where the planning comes into picture. So first you'll heard what is planning. Now why the planning is here. Yeah, unknowingly me and Lakshmi took such excellent topics. So perception. What are all things we perceived? Colors, descriptions, findings, listenings, notes, looks, observations, measures, records. This one looks good, that one looks good. And all these perceptions of things is the basic one. Then we assembled the perceptions. We demonstrated, we imitated, we manipulated. Okay. Then we gave the guided responses. I have already explained this. So I'm not able to ask you for this. I'm coming to the conclusion part of it. Cognitive is completely setting up of the knowledge here. That means taking them from known to unknown, okay, and making them understand, making them, giving them the knowledge, making them apply, making them synthesize, making them create, evaluate and create. These are all the cognitive skills. Whereas entire values and entire attitudes come from the affective domain, and the physical development comes from the psychomotor domain. So our entire curriculum should be based on all the three things put together. Then only the whole lot of curriculum for the toddlers happen and the learning domains will be taken care of. So whatever we are teaching, it should be within these three areas only. And these three areas should be looked into very, very carefully. So if you have any questions, please ask. I'm open to questions. Questions, please. No questions? So I'm done. If anyone has any questions, they can ask. I'm not able to see my chat box. That's why I did not have it in an interactive way. Can anyone ask questions if they want? They can unmute and ask.
Veda, if there are any questions in the chat box, please read them out for ma'am.
There is no much questions, but they enjoyed the session. That's what they've written.
Yeah, there's a lot of feedback. Yeah, in the chat box, there's a lot of feedback coming in.
Achha? Okay, thank you so much. No questions are there?
No, not right now. There is no questions.
Okay, I'll stop sharing.
You say kids, but so much to know about them. Thanks. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Wonderful session, ma'am. A wonderful session. I'm Sharmila Soman, Principal AKG Public from Chennai. I have listened to you when you had an interaction with the Krish, Professor Medal Krish in the Amrita session. And I've fallen in love with you and I said, I must listen to you. Though, of course, it's been a very long session. You still had the same tempo right from the time you started. I became tired of listening to you, but amazing. I think I would have given you a standing ovation. If I wouldn't have been able to unmute myself, I would have got the number from Professor Krish and I would have sent you a message. Really, I think hats off to IIEM for conducting such an amazing session, and you and Mrs. Lakshmi Rao, I didn't know that she was your sister, but yes, I could just read the passion that you have, the amount of knowledge that you have given us. Thank you so much. I wish we could have some more sessions like this, ma'am. Thank you, really.
Thank you so much. Whenever I have my session, I'll share it with you from Bangalore. Sahodaya also we take. I'll let you know. Yes. Okay.
Manila ma'am is a friend of mine, and but I would take your number as well from Manila today itself, and I will be in touch with you.
Definitely, it will be my pleasure.
Wonderful. Thank you. And IIEM, thanks a lot for this wonderful session. The whole day it's been lovely.
Thank you so much. Yes. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharada ma'am. Thanks a lot for the beautiful session. And I would request Sumati ma'am to have one session every day. lot to learn from her.
Yeah,
Thank
the
you
Teach-A-Thon,
so
everything is guiding force is Sharada only for us.
Yes,
Okay.
Completely on advisory role, and she did a wonderful job with us. Thanks a lot, Sharada. No
My
words to
pleasure.
express it. I think our MCs will take it up. Veda?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think I have to just say, wow. The word wow describes everything. Ma'am, what an interesting session it was, seriously. And amazing, ma'am. The time extended, but none of us, could move our eyes from either or thither. It was seriously catchy because your body gesture, voice modulation, enthusiasm, narration, presentation, superb. Fantastic, ma'am. Seriously. I think I enjoyed as a toddler. Hope I would have had an opportunity to be as your student as a toddler in future. In other my janma, they say probably I would like to be what I can say a student of yours, because every bit of it, the way you explained, I enjoyed every bit of it. I didn't even move from here because I thought, okay, I'll just move. I'll go for the restroom and come back. No. I mean something. No, I didn't, the stories which you narrated, wow. And I will never forget cognitive, affective, psychomotor. I will never forget in my
Thank
life.
you so much.
Seriously, it was wonderful. And you kept everyone so active, and the zeal was completely in the session, ma'am. And especially I had so many things to write. I think my pages were totally filling because everything was so wonderful. I think what the Colombo which you started, the way you gave the example, like what exactly the teachers have to be in their classrooms was superb. And that went on totally. And the example, experiential examples, live application example, we will never forget. And surely, ma'am, the teachers will inculcate this, whatever you have given them today. I think your expression shows that, the teacher in you, the passion in you, the teaching in you, it shows very lively. I think I have no words to express, and I had written so many things, but everything vanished when you were starting, like, the way explaining it to all of us, ma'am. All the domains and all the three affective, cognitive, affective, and psychomotor skills were very detailedly explained to all of us. Thanks a lot for this, ma'am. I think we were all really, what I can say, lucky to have you in this session. Thank you so much for this session. Though it extended, none of us felt that, it was a little boring or something, because you kept that enthusiasm throughout the session. Thank you so much for this wonderful session, ma'am. From the team at IEM, I artfully thank you for this presentation. Thank you so much, ma'am.
It's my pleasure. I enjoyed, and really, I don't know, it happens with me and Lakshmi that whenever we are in the class, it automatically comes into our mind. We are born to be teachers, I think. And there is always a saying in our family that if we are late for some session, we would have seen a stage on the way. That was so that was it kind. And thank you so much. I enjoyed doing it. This is my passion. I love to be a teacher, and if I have any ears around my mouth, will keep on working.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Thank
think
you so
we are all
much.
lucky to have you. And the comment, the chat box was filled with complete comments about you, ma'am. Seriously.
Thank you so much.
It was too many, in fact. And now also it's going on. Still it's going on and on. Thank you so much once again, ma'am. Over to Priya. Priya, ma'am, you can take it up. Priya, ma'am.
Priya is not visible.
Yeah, she's there. Actually, she's in her mute position. I would call her for the vote of thanks for this session. Priya, ma'am. Okay. So I would like to just continue the vote of thanks. Ma'am, with permission, can I take it up, Sumati, ma'am?
Yeah, please carry on, Veda.
We thank all the teachers for participating in Teach-A-Thon 2020. Thank you all the school leaders and the management who have encouraged their teachers to participate in this event. And we thank Bangalore Sahodaya School Complex Association. Wholeheartedly thank my institute IO for making this event a reality. We thank our educational board for being the media partner. We thank Delusion for being the technology partner. And thanks to all the speakers and jury members of this webinar. Special thanks to Ms. Banu Prabha, Mr. Ram Ganeshan, and Mr. Rangarajan for supporting us. And thanks once again for everyone for participating and supporting us throughout the day. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sharada.
Thank you, Sumati. All the best. You are doing a fantabulous job. Love you for that. And so many are on getting benefited. You are such a darling, I tell you. Amazing.
We really benefited, ma'am. Thank you so much. This is Uma Maheshwari.
Thank you, Uma Maheshwari, ma'am.
And the story we cannot forget.
Thank you.
We didn't get feedback form for this session, ma'am.
Yeah, you
we got.
We couldn't see feedback form here.
They were so much involved that they did not see the feedback form. That is what somebody is telling. Yeah, it has come now.
Yes. I have shared it once again,
ma'am. Actually, I did it twice because I was so enthused. I wanted to give good feedback, so I did it twice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You made my day with all my I don't know 80+ kilos. I'm going to fly high now, and, and I started my career as a toddler teacher. I started
a virtual hug, ma'am. Magical hug.
Yeah, Jadoo ki chappi de diya. Yeah. And we used to create songs, like for web. I don't know, we were a very enthusiastic crowd, some 5-6 of us. So we wrote songs like V for violet, bright and bold, I for color indigo, B for blue you see in the sky, G for green of a leaf, Y for yellow of a sun, O for orange is a fruit, la 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 la, V for violet, bright and bold. We made them sing these songs, do dances, and I don't know. As a toddler teacher, I'm talking about 39-40 years ago. We all did quite a lot of things, and without knowing much about all these technical words like cognitive, psychomotor, affective, somehow we worked on that, and that today, of course, a long journey I had. Thank you very much. I'm really smiling from this year to this year, showing all my 32 teeth. Yeah, I have 32 still in my mouth. So I am showing all the 32 teeth and enjoying showing that. Thank you. Stay safe, stay healthy. Bye-bye.
And thank you, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye. Bye.
I'm Lakshmi. Dhanyavad, ma'am, for the repetition of the concept.